As the great Buddha once said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. This profound wisdom reminds us of the destructive nature of anger. Have you ever felt the sting of anger and wondered how to let go and find peace? In today's video, we'll explore 7 transformative Buddhist lessons that can help you release anger and cultivate inner peace. 1. The root of anger: ignorance. In Buddhism, it's taught that the root of anger lies in ignorance, which means a misunderstanding of the true nature of reality. This ignorance causes us to see the world in a distorted way, leading to unrealistic expectations and attachments. For example, we might expect people to always act kindly or for things to always go our way. When reality doesn't match these expectations, we feel frustrated and angry. Buddha said, "All wrongdoing arises because of mind. If mind is transformed, can wrongdoing remain?" By seeking wisdom and understanding, we can begin to see things as they truly are. This means recognizing that life is full of ups and downs, that people have their own struggles, and that everything is constantly changing. When we accept these truths, we can let go of our unrealistic expectations and attachments. This process helps dissolve the ignorance that fuels our anger, allowing us to respond to situations with more patience and compassion. To sum it up, transforming our mind through wisdom helps us understand the true nature of reality, which in turn reduces our anger. By learning and practicing Buddhist teachings, we can cultivate a clearer, more peaceful mind. 2. Self-reflection is your superpower. The Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think you become." Self-reflection is a powerful tool in Buddhist practice. By taking time to reflect on our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can gain insights into the triggers and patterns of our anger. This process involves setting aside time regularly to quietly contemplate our daily experiences, reactions, and behaviors. When we engage in self-reflection, we observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment. For example, if we notice that we often become angry in certain situations, we can ask ourselves why this happens. Are we feeling threatened, misunderstood, or disrespected? Understanding these underlying causes can help us see our anger more clearly. This awareness allows us to address the root causes and make conscious choices to respond differently. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can pause and choose a more thoughtful response. Over time, this practice helps us develop greater self-control and emotional resilience, reducing the frequency and intensity of our anger. 3. Use mindfulness to channel your anger. Mindfulness is a cornerstone of Buddhist practice. It involves paying full attention to the present moment, observing our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without judgment. By cultivating mindfulness through meditation and daily awareness, we create a mental space where we can observe our anger as it arises. This practice helps us understand the triggers of our anger and see it as a temporary state rather than a fixed part of our identity. When we feel anger beginning to build, mindfulness allows us to pause and take a deep breath. This brief moment of awareness can prevent us from reacting impulsively. Instead of lashing out or suppressing our feelings, we can acknowledge our anger and choose a more constructive response. For example, we might decide to walk away from a heated situation, express our feelings calmly, or engage in a calming activity like deep breathing or a short meditation. The Buddha emphasized the importance of mindfulness in managing emotions, saying, "You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger." This means that the real harm of anger comes from the suffering it causes us, not from external consequences. By practicing mindfulness, we can reduce this suffering and cultivate a more peaceful state of mind. 4. Embrace stillness and silence. Stillness and silence are powerful practices in Buddhism. By embracing moments of stillness and silence, we create space for inner calm and clarity. This practice helps us to respond to anger with patience and understanding, rather than reacting impulsively. When we take the time to be still and silent, we allow our minds to settle and our thoughts to clear. It's like letting muddy water become clear by not stirring it. In these quiet moments, we can observe our emotions without getting swept up in them. This helps us to see the situation more clearly and understand it from a different perspective. By regularly practicing stillness and silence, we train ourselves to pause before reacting. Instead of immediately responding with anger, we give ourselves a moment to breathe and choose a more thoughtful and compassionate response. This simple but profound practice can transform how we deal with anger and conflict in our daily lives. The great Buddha said, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." Embracing stillness and silence helps us find that word of peace within ourselves. 5. Cultivate gratitude, a powerful antidote. Gratitude is a transformative practice that can counteract anger. By focusing on the positive aspects of our lives and appreciating what we have, we shift our mindset from negativity to positivity. This shift helps to dissolve feelings of anger and resentment. When we cultivate gratitude, we actively look for things to be thankful for. This practice encourages us to notice and appreciate the small joys and blessings in our daily lives. It can be as simple as being grateful for a sunny day, a kind word from a friend, or even the food we eat. By regularly acknowledging these positive experiences, we train our minds to focus on the good rather than dwelling on what makes us angry or dissatisfied. Gratitude also involves recognizing the efforts and kindness of others. When we express our thanks and appreciation to those around us, we build stronger, more positive relationships. This not only makes us feel happier, but also reduces feelings of resentment and anger towards others. Practicing gratitude can be done in many ways, such as keeping a gratitude journal, where we write down things we're thankful for each day. This simple act can have a profound impact on our overall mindset and emotional well-being. Taking a few minutes each day to reflect on what we are grateful for can help us develop a more optimistic outlook on life. Over time, this practice can change the way we perceive and react to the world around us. Another way to cultivate gratitude is through meditation. During a gratitude meditation, we can focus on the things we are thankful for and send out positive energy towards them. This practice can help us develop a deep sense of appreciation and contentment, which can counteract negative emotions like anger. Buddha emphasized the importance of gratitude in his teachings. He said, "Thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared." This quote highlights the idea that sharing our gratitude and happiness with others can multiply our own joy and reduce negative emotions like anger. By practicing gratitude, we can cultivate a positive mindset and create a more peaceful and contented life. This simple yet powerful practice can help us transform our anger into appreciation and develop a deeper sense of happiness and fulfillment. 6. Trust the natural order. Let go of control. One of the fundamental teachings of Buddhism is the principle of impermanence, which means that everything in life is constantly changing and nothing remains the same. This lesson helps us understand that trying to control every aspect of our lives is not only futile, but also a source of great frustration and anger. When we cling to the idea that we can manage and control all outcomes, we set ourselves up for disappointment because life is inherently unpredictable. Buddhism teaches us to trust the natural order of things and let go of our need to control. This means embracing the flow of life with an open heart and mind, accepting that we cannot foresee or manage everything that happens. Instead of trying to bend life to our will, we learn to adapt and flow with it. This shift in mindset can significantly reduce the stress and anger that come from unmet expectations. By accepting that we cannot control everything, we can focus on what we can control: our reactions, thoughts, and behaviors. This perspective shift helps us stay calm and centered even when things don't go as planned. For instance, if someone acts in a way that upsets us, instead of reacting with anger, we can choose to accept their behavior as part of the natural diversity of human actions. Acceptance doesn't mean we condone harmful behavior, but it helps us maintain our inner peace and respond more thoughtfully. Trusting the natural order also involves letting go of our ego's need for everything to go our way. Our ego often drives us to control situations, to protect ourselves from discomfort, or to ensure things happen as we desire. However, this need for control is based on a false sense of security and power. By letting go of this need, we free ourselves from the constant anxiety and anger that arise when things inevitably go differently than we expected. Moreover, trusting the natural order means recognizing and respecting the interconnectedness of all things. In Buddhism, everything is interdependent, and our actions have far-reaching consequences. By understanding this interconnectedness, we can approach life with a sense of humility and openness, knowing that we are part of a larger, ever-changing whole. When we learn to let go and trust the flow of life, we find a profound sense of peace. We no longer feel the need to react impulsively out of anger or frustration because we understand that we are not in control of everything. This acceptance brings a deep sense of freedom and reduces our tendency to react with anger. This concept is beautifully encapsulated in one of Buddha's teachings. To enjoy good health, to bring true happiness to one's family, to bring peace to all, one must first discipline and control one's own mind. If a man can control his mind, he can find the way to enlightenment, and all wisdom and virtue will naturally come to him. This quote reminds us that true control lies within, in mastering our own mind, rather than attempting to control the external world. By letting go of our need to control every situation, we allow ourselves to experience life as it unfolds, with all its unpredictability and beauty. This approach not only helps us maintain our peace of mind, but also enhances our ability to respond to life's challenges with grace and equanimity. As we trust in the natural order, we become more resilient and less prone to anger, embracing the journey with a calm and open heart. One practical way to implement this lesson is through the practice of meditation. Meditation helps us develop a deeper awareness of our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to observe them without getting caught up in them. Through regular meditation, we learn to let go of our attachment to specific outcomes and become more accepting of whatever arises. This acceptance fosters a sense of trust in the natural order of things. Additionally, reflecting on the impermanent nature of life can reinforce our trust in the natural order. By understanding that everything is transient, including our struggles and difficulties, we can develop a more relaxed and open attitude toward life. This perspective helps us let go of our need to control and allows us to embrace the present moment with equanimity. In our daily lives, we can practice letting go by being more mindful of our reactions to events and situations. When something doesn't go as planned, instead of immediately trying to fix or control it, we can take a moment to pause and reflect. We can ask ourselves if this situation is something we can change or if it is beyond our control. If it is beyond our control, we can practice acceptance and let go of our need to manage it. Trusting the natural order also involves having faith in the process of life. This faith doesn't mean being passive or fatalistic. Rather, it means believing that things will unfold as they are meant to, and that we will be able to handle whatever comes our way. This faith gives us the strength to face uncertainties with courage and resilience. By integrating these practices into our lives, we can gradually learn to trust the natural order and let go of our need for control. This trust brings a sense of peace and reduces the anger and frustration that arise from trying to manage everything. We become more adaptable, more compassionate, and more at ease with the ebb and flow of life. Trusting the natural order and letting go of control is a powerful lesson from Buddhism that can help us manage our anger and find inner peace. By accepting the impermanent and interconnected nature of life, we can release our need to control every aspect of our existence. This acceptance allows us to respond to life's challenges with grace and equanimity, reducing our tendency to react with anger. As we cultivate trust in the natural order, we discover a profound sense of peace and freedom, enabling us to embrace life's journey with an open and calm heart. 7. The power of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a cornerstone of Buddhist practice, holding profound significance in the journey toward inner peace. In Buddhism, it is understood that holding on to anger and grudges is detrimental, primarily to ourselves. When we harbor resentment, it is akin to carrying a heavy burden that weighs down our spirit and clouds our judgment. This persistent anger can lead to physical and emotional stress, negatively impacting our overall well-being. When we hold on to anger, it is like carrying a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. Ultimately, we are the ones who get burned. This metaphor illustrates how the act of holding on to anger can harm us more than the person who may have wronged us. Anger and grudges create a toxic environment within our minds and bodies, leading to increased stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments. The longer we hold on to these negative emotions, the more they fester and grow, consuming our thoughts and energy. By practicing forgiveness, we consciously choose to release this burden. Forgiveness does not mean that we condone harmful actions or forget the wrongs done to us. Instead, it means we let go of the toxic emotions tied to these actions. This act of letting go is transformative. It allows us to move forward without the chains of past grievances holding us back. It enables us to reclaim our emotional and mental space, fostering a sense of freedom and inner tranquility. Opening our hearts to forgiveness cultivates compassion and understanding. It helps us see the humanity in others, recognizing that everyone makes mistakes and deserves the opportunity to make amends. This perspective fosters empathy, enabling us to connect more deeply with others and create harmonious relationships. We become more resilient, capable of facing life's challenges with grace and equanimity. Forgiveness also brings immense peace and freedom. When we let go of anger and resentment, we free ourselves from the mental and emotional turmoil they cause. This liberation leads to a more serene and balanced state of mind, allowing us to experience life with greater clarity and joy. Our interactions become more positive, and we attract the same positivity into our lives. As Buddha wisely said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. This quote encapsulates the essence of forgiveness. By releasing anger, we prevent it from poisoning our own lives and open the door to true inner peace and happiness. Embracing forgiveness is a profound act of self-care that nurtures our soul and promotes overall well-being. It's a journey of healing, not just for ourselves, but for our relationships and the world around us. In Buddhism, the practice of forgiveness is also intertwined with the concept of karma. Holding on to anger and resentment can lead to negative karma, which in turn affects our future experiences. By forgiving, we not only cleanse our current state of mind, but also create positive karma that benefits our future. This karmic perspective adds a deeper dimension to the practice of forgiveness, encouraging us to act with compassion and wisdom. Additionally, forgiveness can be a powerful tool for conflict resolution. When we approach conflicts with a mindset of forgiveness, we are more likely to find peaceful and constructive solutions. This approach not only resolves the immediate issue, but also strengthens our relationships and builds a foundation of trust and mutual respect. In this way, forgiveness can transform not only our internal state, but also our external interactions and environments. Forgiveness is also linked to self-forgiveness in Buddhism. Often the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We may hold on to guilt and self-blame for past mistakes, which can be just as damaging as holding grudges against others. Buddhist teachings encourage us to practice self-compassion and forgive ourselves, recognizing that we are all human and capable of growth and change. Self-forgiveness is a crucial step in achieving overall emotional and spiritual well-being. Forgiveness fosters a sense of community and interconnectedness. When we forgive, we acknowledge our shared humanity and the interdependence of all beings. This understanding helps us to cultivate a more compassionate and inclusive outlook, promoting peace and harmony within our communities. The power of forgiveness in Buddhism is immense and multifaceted. It is a practice that liberates us from the burdens of anger and resentment, allowing us to experience greater peace, compassion, and happiness. By embracing forgiveness, we transform our inner and outer worlds, creating a ripple effect of positivity and healing. As we continue on our spiritual journey, let us remember the wise words of Buddha. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Let us choose forgiveness and open our hearts to the boundless love and compassion that it brings. By incorporating these 7 Buddhist lessons into our lives, we can transform our relationship with anger and cultivate a more peaceful and compassionate existence. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe for more content on living a mindful and meaningful life. Until next time, stay calm and stay mindful.